From the tallest parts of Asteroid M down to the valleys of the Savage Land, we want to hear your nerd shout. And today, we're shouting about S.H.I.E.L.D. Woo! What's up, Nerd Shouters? I am Kevin Becker, and joining me, as always, are the rest of the Nerd Shout team. Let's see what they have to say, huh? Let's see.
Hey gang, Mark Cirillo here.
Hey Nerd Shouters, it's Demetris Hartman. Welcome back. Let's talk about what happened in this episode.
Hey everyone, it's Keyla Teixeira. It's really great to be back.
Hey guys, and welcome to our third Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show for episode 13.
Ooh, lucky number 13.
Is it? We'll find out now. So, we are here to talk to you guys about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as always. And so, we want to start talking about this episode with talking about Kyle MacLachlan's character, Cal. And he put together his own little supervillain team, which I'm a sucker for supervillains and superpowers, so I was on board. But what did you guys think of how Cal and the Cal/the Doctor, as they call him, moved forward this episode?
It was really cool. He was... we really got to see his crazy side of this episode. We got to see how much of a mental... he is. Mental, because I'm living in the UK, so it's fucking mental, as they say.
You're from Greece.
Yeah, I know, but I live in the UK. Anyway. But he's mental. He's insane. He's absolutely nuts. And we really got to see it, especially when he was out there, on the football field.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Loved that. Oh.
Wow. Come out, wherever you are.
Starting forward.
And it was that thing. I'm like, okay, Kyle MacLachlan, you're vamping up the theatrical aspect of this character, but I like it.
Yeah,
I was like, we were talking about this earlier, we were like, is it bad acting, or is it brilliant because he's playing a crazy person?
Right.
I wasn't so sure.
Does it enhance the feeling?
Kayla might have an opinion on that.
Kayla, what do you think
about
what
do you think?
Just making.
What do you think about Cal in this episode?
I'm not quite sure if I was the only one that felt this way, but when I saw Kyle MacLachlan and all of them in an RV, all I could imagine was a spin-off series or something on Netflix where they just a YouTube miniseries of them just riding around the United States in that RV, road tripping. I would love to join that if that was real, but I love that. That was hilarious, really great. But another thing that I want to mention is Kyle MacLachlan just makes for a great villain. Every time we've seen him, I feel like he's been getting better and better, and which is it seems impossible, but he's just been getting really just such a great villain, just a gravitas to him. Very, very. It's like he commands the screen. Even with all those other supervillains, because we haven't seen him he's Mr. Hyde, yes, but we haven't seen him really just go berserk yet. So even amongst all those other supervillains that have very clear abilities, he just commands the screen. Kyle MacLachlan as Cal. So I love him. I think he's a great villain. Angar the Screamer. I think I pronounced that really wrong. But Angar the Screamer, great villain as well. When he did do his thing where Kyle MacLachlan was just go do your thing, and that was so terrifying. I don't know if anybody else felt really creeped out by that, but it was really terrifying, and I was really creeped out about it. I just love supervillains, and I love Kyle MacLachlan. I think he's just such a great villain, so there's that.
But I love that. I love that going on a freaking road trip.
Yeah, it was the Scooby Gang. They had their own van.
I either want to see it as the Scooby Gang, or I want to see Breaking Bad.
Ooh, yeah. Run! And them being in underwear or something like that.
Angar, we gotta cook.
Angar, we gotta make money for Gus, man.
And I've seen that effect before with the mouth. Sort of extending. They've done it, on Smallville, they did it when Amy Adams was on it. And she played, somebody that, had to basically eat people to survive.
Also, it is so The Mummy.
Yes.
It reminded me of Mommy.
All the flies came out. Mm-hmm. But I loved those supervillains. I thought those little supervillains were great, and it was kind of interesting to me to see the drastic measures that S.H.I.E.L.D. goes to. Because not only did they put Angar the Screamer into a mask, that mask was glued to his face.
Yeah.
That's why she had to go in and use her crazy knife fingers to get it to like safely cut it off. That's crazy.
I forgot her name.
Drea de Mateo, I think.
Yeah, Drea de Mateo.
Drea de Mateo's character. I forgot her name because I was looking it up, and I looked it up ages ago, when she was first announced.
Right.
And she was, and we were talking about this. She was in 2 issues of Daredevil,
something like that.
past, and she was this character who, like, they did repeat the story.
Yeah, she was abused by her boyfriend.
Abused by her boyfriend, whom she ended up killing, and she was like defended by Matt Murdock. So I wonder if they are going to actually end up linking that. Since they are doing Daredevil right now, maybe she will be one of his failures or something like that.
It's a good question also because I wonder if the studio system is sort of going to get in the way of that because this is ABC and that's Netflix.
But it's all
But
Marvel.
it's all under the Marvel umbrella.
Yeah.
It's not like Sony versus,
Capcom. What if it's like
Fox and all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
What if she is like...
Sorry.
Not one of those things.
It's not Sony versus Capcom.
Marvel versus Capcom.
Well, what if it is like? What if she ends up being one of the characters in the Daredevil show that he couldn't help? Maybe she did turn bad, and that's what
it would
makes
make
him take
sense.
up the
Also,
mantle.
just looking at her as an actress, she's she's been a
Yeah.
series regular on so many shows, and she's great.
Yeah,
So-
I'm wondering if we'll see
deservedly so
more of these. That's one thing
in the MCU.
Yeah, because I was looking.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about this episode is we got the origin story for Mr. Hyde. We
Yeah,
got Cal's
right.
origin story. He experimented on himself. We officially have made him a supervillain instead of just a dude who's really mad and implied that he has extra
He
strength.
crushes mugs all the time,
Right? With a damn fun
In
cup of
diners.
coffee. But
I don't understand how nobody like in that diner was like these guys.
I'm
are
fairly
really
certain that was the
weird.
diner from Pulp Fiction. So
They're used to that kind of
They're
thing.
just kind of like, it's not Sam Jackson. But that was really, really cool for me. And I know that he has had interactions with Graviton, who we haven't seen since episode 3 of season 1.
Right.
And so that's one thing about the show is that they're like, here's these cool supervillains that you'd never thought we'd put on something, and I hope we see them all again at some point.
Well, I was just thinking that too. It'd be nice if all those villains of the week from the first season actually serve some sort of purpose and do belong now that everybody's being, especially now that everybody's being cataloged.
Yeah, because they brought back Blizzard
Mm-hmm.
in the first half of the season, which was very cool.
It's actually well utilized.
Yeah, very well done. But we'll see. I would love to see a lot of these guys come back. Kayla, what do you think? Do you want to see him come back? Do you want to see Graviton?
Never see them again.
Who wants to see Graviton?
You want to see an Angar the Screamer movie?
Do you have a response to this, or do you
Want to
cut
go
away
get
for
some
nothing?
popcorn?
I mean, I've been waiting for Graviton to return. We saw the origin of him, I guess, in season 1. So where is he? Quite don't know if Graviton returns to the series, how the agents would handle him, because he's such a ginormous kind of, like, his powers really do exceed the capabilities of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. I don't know if they're going to be able to contain him or handle him if Graviton comes back to the show. Probably not in this season, right? I mean, we only have I don't know how many episodes we have left. Probably if they're doing 22 episodes, we have like 9 episodes left. Quite don't know. I'm sorry that I don't know, but I definitely want to see him come back. Maybe not in season 2. Of all the characters I would want, of all the villains that we saw in this episode that I would want to come back, probably obviously Kyle MacLachlan, Cal's character. But Angar the Screamer, he's probably the one that I would want to come back because he was a pretty badass villain, and other than like the creepy like screaming thing that he did, I would want to see him come back. Just because, I mean, Andrea, I can't remember I'm with you guys. I can't remember the character's name from the comics, the Daredevil comics, but Drea de Mateo, her character, with the fancy nails. I love her, so I would like to see her come back too. So. We shall see, I guess.
Well, really, who is Drea Mateo? Like, we don't know what her.
I know, I knew it.
I can't remember her
because I was
name.
like, she has like the blades on her in her fingers, and so I was like, but she's not, you know. Lady,
you had
what is it, Lady Deathstrike? Yeah, Lady Deathstrike.
So you've got her, you've got Super Nerd, you've got the animal guy who's somebody who, one of them. It's either Angar or the guy who was very animalistic, whose name I can't remember, is also a Daredevil character. Right. There were two Daredevil characters, and I can't remember.
So
which
they
one.
might end up over there.
They very well could. Although they've already got Kingpin, the Owl, Gladiator, lined up for Daredevil this season.
Right.
But there's no reason we couldn't see them in future seasons, because I would like all of the seasons of Daredevil, please, right now.
Just release it right now.
Next. But anyway, let's continue on. There are two other big moments that happen in this episode. We've got the reveal of who Mac and Bobby are working for. They're working for the real S.H.I.E.L.D.
The real S.H.I.E.L.D.
Like the real Housewives of Orange County.
Okay.
But the real S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, here's my question. Who do we think the real S.H.I.E.L.D. is? I think we know Edward James Olmos is showing up. I think that Edward James Olmos is going to be a guy running the real S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think he's going to be running it for the U.S. government. It's a U.S. government-sanctioned real S.H.I.E.L.D.
What if he's like Colonel Adama post Battlestar Galactica, went to the U.S. and just took up S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe that's why they have the stars on the new sign.
Because it's Battle S.H.I.E.L.D. Galactica.
Battle S.H.I.E.L.D. Galactica. Done. You heard it here, guys, at nerdSHOUT.
Mark,
Sorry,
would you
would
you like to make a real theory, perhaps?
Since Demetri's not playing this episode. I don't know, because I feel like it could be so many different people. Like we were talking earlier about like Maria Hill, but like wouldn't she be with Nick Fury?
Because we know she's in Age of Ultron.
Right.
Yes. And is he not?
Fury is.
Yeah, like aren't they still working
maybe
together? So I don't know if that's like a
I don't put it
right
past Maria
theory,
Hill
because
to...
I feel like Nick Fury's still with our S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
You know? Still connected, so yeah, I guess I don't really have a theory is what I'm saying.
Well, you had a good one. That wasn't Battlestar Galactica related.
Which one? No. But like I honestly think that it is probably Maria Hill who's in it. It is the idea that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been working with the government still, and the S.H.I.E.L.D. that we have been following, these agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we've been following for so long since season 1, are actually secret warriors to begin with. Quake is already on their team, and they're going to start growing. That's who the team is going to be, because they are the side project. They were technically Fury's side project.
True.
So, and we've already got the great foundation for them to be the secret warriors.
Kayla, I get a feeling that you want to say something.
She looks excited.
She should have just jumped in.
I love that theory. If they ended up doing that, where they're setting up for Secret Warriors, where like Coulson and his team are the start of Secret Warriors, like Demetris said, holy cow! I really love that theory. I'm just trying to contain myself because it just makes so much sense. That just makes so much sense. I want Secret Warriors to happen really, really, really bad. Not as much as I want Secret Invasion to happen. But I want Secret Warriors to happen really badly. So if that happens, then I'm all for it. But the whole who is the whole real S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, first thing that popped in my mind was this whole that we're seeing the separation between the people, we would see in the beginnings of a civil war possibly, but the separation of organizations. I think I forgot which one of you mentioned it. I'm so sorry, but how the real S.H.I.E.L.D. is government operated. I think it was Kevin. How the government is behind the real S.H.I.E.L.D. I really like that theory because it shows the beginning of the Civil War. But I really love Demetris' theory too of Coulson and his ragtag team being the beginnings of Secret Warriors. It's just great theories. I just I have nothing to add.
So yeah, I think that it has a great potential of being Secret Warriors.
I think so too.
They're
I think
such
that'd be
an
so
important
cool.
team. They're such an important team,
theory.
and here you do it. That's how you do it, and you can link it into Civil War, and just create magic.
But
So
if our
thank you.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are the Secret Warriors,
They're still technically agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
they're just the Secret Warriors branch of
Yeah.
Agents
Yeah,
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
they're the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that nobody knows about. They're Nick Fury's...
Hence
you
the
know,
secret part.
Yes.
Well,
Good job.
people do know about them though. That's the only thing that they do that the real Shield knows about them all along, but they're more of an experimental process.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
it'll be interesting to see where they go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I
and
think
how
we
they
will
get
know
to
by
that.
the end of this
Yeah,
season. We'll
totally.
see how it'll branch out and hopefully evolve into that.
A big part of this episode was relationships between characters. We got to see May and her ex-husband, which I loved. I loved the two of them. We got to see Daisy and her Skye interacting with a lot of people dealing with her new powers.
Yeah. And
we
how
also
she was reacting to a lot of the treatment of other people.
She got the Daisy gloves,
Oh,
Yes, that's right.
and then my favorite moment was watching the start of the repair of Fitzsimmons.
Yeah.
Because I love Fitzsimmons more than I love real people. But more than people who I actually know.
They are real people, right?
Well, yes, they are. And we got to see them connecting again instead of, I'm damaged and I'm upset about it, Fitz, and the guy who I was into got murdered and I don't know how to handle it, Simmons. We got to see the Fitz and Simmons that we loved of being like, well, look at May and look at her ex-husband, and wouldn't it be, they're smiling, and there was no stuttering, there was no anger, it was just pure Fitz and Simmons, and I loved it.
It's a wonderful return back to their old band.
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
And she didn't hold. It didn't look like she was holding any grudges against him. Or
Not in
it
that
might.
moment.
It might be revealed in another episode that it was like, are we putting up this facade or something like that?
Yeah.
There's more drama, but it's nice to see those, those little bits of the silver linings in the relationship. It's awesome.
And what did you guys think of May's ex-husband, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, there's still so much to be developed to find out like who he is and what he is and like how how connected he's going to stay or if he's just going to show up every once in a while.
Yeah.
Did they say that they're bringing him back?
He said no. He said Andrew said, I'm not coming back.
Right.
I can give you somebody else.
But,
and I could foresee that not happening.
Yeah.
May and him were taken apart by the fact that she was job first.
Right.
And I think that could have a very important effect on Skye. Skye sees that the relationships of the woman who is training her caused her to have nobody. And Skye is not a have nobody kind of girl.
Right.
She is a person who doesn't rely on people, but her relationships are really, really interesting to her. And she loves helping people. That's the first time we see her helping Mike Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
She is cracking the bones in her body to protect those around her.
Yes.
Her relationships are important to her.
Yeah.
She didn't used to have them, and now she does. So
yeah. And she hasn't really had a family, and now she does.
Yeah, like May was saying.
Family, yeah.
But there's still that question of even though they're family and they keep trying to fight for her, there's still that feeling of questioning her.
Yeah,
and not
absolutely.
knowing who
They
she
don't
is
know.
yet. Or what she's turning into, essentially. What she has become.
Kayla, what did you dislike about these relationships this episode?
That's the thing. This whole thing with Fitzsimmons being fixed, I don't think they're fixed. I mean, it's kind of funny though because they were communicating with each other in a better way than they had been communicating with each other. But it's funny how they started talking again. Because they became focused on somebody else's relationship, being May and Dr. Andrew Garner, Blair Underwood's character. So it's like them ignoring their own relationship. They just focus on somebody else's relationship. Just which isn't healthy, which is not healthy at all. You should just talk about your problems, you guys, with your significant others or people who you care about and who are denying their feelings. But, so they're definitely not fixed. There's a lot more that needs to happen, a lot of a lot of fixing needs to happen, but this is definitely just a start for them to, of them communicating with each other again, which is good. It's the beginning of Fitzsimmons coming back together, which I really, really want to happen, like everybody else. But it's just ironic how they started talking about another relationship other than talking about their own relationship. It's never good to ignore your problems. So I don't know. I want them to get back together already. And the relationship between May and her ex-husband, freaking great. It was hilarious because no one could really imagine somebody being married to May because she's such a closed-off individual. But with him, it wasn't. It's like it just fit nicely together from what I saw there. But obviously, they have some issues, which I don't think this is the last of we've seen Blair Underwood and Dr. Andrew Garner. We have to get him back. He has to come back some way, somehow. We have to get him back on the show, and I hope we do see him again.
That's a good point. I don't think that this fixes Fitz and Simmons, but I certainly see it as the opportunity for them to see that they are not totally without fixing.
Yeah, it's on the path of mending the relationship.
They still have a way of communicating.
Yeah, they see that they're not ruined.
Right.
You know, like Bobby says, don't throw in the towel just yet, or, you know, the actual words that she used, I'm paraphrasing. But while we're talking about Bobby, we have all of that relationship as well, which is just a mess.
It's crazy.
And her and Coulson, I loved that scene of him grilling her in the plane because he could tell she wasn't telling him everything.
There's something going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's been used to this compartmentalization of all this information, and he can see right through her. I think he knows that they're being watched in some way.
I think he knows there's something. He definitely knows there's something that she's not telling him.
Right.
But speaking of things that people aren't telling people, who is in charge of the Inhumans? Because we get to the end of the episode, Cal is taken by Reader, which I was blown away. And
it was such an awesome moment.
It happened, and I was just like, no, what, no.
It really slows down time as well.
It's wonderful.
When it happens. It's awesome.
And he's taken by Reader, who we believe is Reader, and Reader goes, it's not up to me to tell you what's going to happen to you. I love those lines. You're not one of us. You're a science experiment.
Right.
And who do we think is in charge of the Inhumans? Is it the royal family? Is it an offshoot? Is Maximus the Mad doing it?
I want it to be Black Bolt. No.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out things that we can pick up on if we want to.
That would be crazy.
Kayla wants to throw something.
Kayla, do you want to go first? We never let you go first. Let's switch it up. Kayla, go.
Yeah.
I don't think it could be like Maximus the Mad or like the royal family or anything because I think that's far too large of a spectrum for it to be an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, and it may be too soon to introduce both of those characters now because, I mean, Inhumans comes like years from now. The Inhumans movie, I can't remember the exact date, but during our first after show, I was talking to somebody in the comments, Creative Concepts, with the Z at the end. So if you're watching this episode now, what's up? He mentioned Reader may be connected with the Genetic Council. So I guess that's my theory that what if these people that Reader mentioned is the Genetic Council. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, if people don't, and Genetic Council, if people that don't know who they are, they deal with the matters of like Terrigen Mists, and I don't know too much about them. I can't go too in depth about the Genetic Council, but they deal with matters about the Terrigen Mists and people who are affected by Terrigen Mists. So it makes sense if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the show has their own form and their own version of the Genetic Council. So I think it might be the Genetic Council. The only reason why I'm even thinking about this is because of Creative Concepts with the Z at the end. You gave me that freaking idea when we were chatting before in the YouTube comments on our first after show. which is a great idea, and that's who I possibly think Reader is saying when he's when he mentioned it with Cal at the end of the episode. So it might be them.
That's okay.
Huh? Yeah, I don't know anything about the Genetic Council either, really.
That's actually
so. Where are
really
they?
Interesting.
How do they?
Well, it's not. Well, they could, based on like looking at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they can be wherever they want to be. You know, they can just place it wherever they want to be. It could be that the base of the Inhumans might not be at the blue side of the moon, or it could be wherever.
Even yet.
Yeah,
you know.
or even yet, exactly. But that's really interesting with the Genetic Council, because they're the ones that are in charge of like keeping the purity and kind of like getting rid of the possibility of people, the Inhumans, coming out with deformities.
Yeah.
That's why you have the royal family. They've been very selected. It's selective breeding, essentially. That's how the Inhumans reproduce. It's based on selective breeding, keeping the more human looking aspects within as close as possible, and keeping those aspects. But obviously the Terrigen Mists are completely unpredictable. You never really know what you're going to look like. Exactly. And that's one of the results. And that's why I think that is very smart, that Reader works for the Genetic Council, brings Reyna to them so they can explain to her why she looks the way that she looks.
Yeah.
And that's a very good idea of like Cal coming into it, and he's going to be judged because he mixed with an Inhuman, creating somebody who's half Inhuman, half human.
Oh, right.
Although she responds the same way that Reyna does, so I don't know if she's technically like they say in this episode, her DNA is just like Reyna's, who we believe to be full Inhuman. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays into it.
Because she still has she still had the genetic, the phenotype or whatever you want to call it.
The predisposition. Towards pterogenesis.
Sure. Exactly. That's very well put. Just like Reyna was. But yeah, I think that makes total sense why her DNA would be so altered, but the look outside hasn't.
It's very I like that a lot, and I think that we got to see possibly the old Genetic Council with Skye's mom.
Right.
When she was training Reader and teaching him, I feel like maybe that was our first glimpse that this is what the Genetic Council was.
Oh yeah, I bet you're right. Yeah.
Which could be very, very cool. And finally,
it also makes sense why she picked Reader.
Yeah, because he would be very helpful to the Genetic Council. Let's go to the Twitter box. Except today, it's the Instagram box.
Ooh,
which is
Instabox. It's an Instabox.
As easy to say.
It's not as catchy.
We'll check the Instagraph.
The Instagram.
There you go.
Give me a couple episodes. I'll work it out. Because you can find us, everywhere. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram, all under nerdSHOUT. So if you have questions for us, find us. Click that little follow, subscribe buttons. Whatever. I'm not good at Instagram.
Join us.
But we got a question from someone whose name is Spectacular Spider-Man. And Spectacular Spider-Man says...
It's him.
It's not.
It's him.
It's not. Do you think there could be some form of Skrull invasion coming to the show with this whole real S.H.I.E.L.D. thing coming into play?
And then the real S.H.I.E.L.D. be Sword.
Sure, why not?
Let's humor that.
I love when we get questions that Mark's like, I haven't even thought of that. Yes.
Yes,
it would be awesome if that was the case.
That could be very interesting. I think that's a season down the line.
Right.
Yeah.
It's too grand scale right now.
Yeah. All of that is really
good. I think that there's a lot. We talked a little bit about the Skrull conflict. Wow, words. Last episode, but I think it would be very, very interesting to see a Secret Wars type story in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. versus, because we've got years of movies to even get to Thanos, and then who knows?
Yeah.
But it would be very, very interesting to see.
That's true.
Because even if we did, this kind of, you're the real S.H.I.E.L.D. because you're people that we know. Oh, you're not actually the people that we know. That'd be interesting to me, and I would watch that. And then we'd have 2 Edward James Olmoses.
2 of them! Life model be gone.
Edward James Olmos and James Edward Olmos.
No. And Edward James Almost.
You're really trying for that. You're really
I am. Vote for that. Vote for that.
We gotta edit that out.
What I'm
It's gonna hurt people.
What I think is, now, because Inhumans is gonna... Inhumans now has been pushed so far back that it's coming out after Infinity War Part 3, right?
Well, there's only 2 parts to Infinity War.
Well, but Infinity War Part 2, sorry. So I'm like...
It might be after Part 2, it might still be between.
Okay.
Because
I think, during the whole Infinity War, essentially, the Terrigen bomb is dropped after Black Bolt, releases his voice and shouts, so Attilan crashes down into Earth. So, that's gonna be, I think that they're gonna start building so much of the Inhumans through the show now, and through Secret Warriors, if this is what it's gonna be, that I think that they're gonna drop hints of the secret of the royal family. I think they are gonna be hinting at that and be hinting at more series and cities in the show.
Yeah.
That will lead into that through Infinity War and Inhumans.
Kayla, what are your thoughts on Skrulls and the secret invasion on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I am the biggest pusher for secret invasion to happen because I love the Skrulls. I think I've mentioned the Skrulls at least once every after show here in nerdSHOUT because I want it to happen. I want secret invasion to happen so badly. Do I think it's going to happen anytime soon? I do not. I think Secret Invasion, the only possibility for Secret Invasion to happen is, after Infinity War, which is freaking years from now. I don't know what season Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be on. If Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. makes... we know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. unfortunately hasn't been doing great on ratings, so, but I hope to God Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just, lasts, throughout, lasts all the seasons and stuff, all the seasons that it wishes to have, and it hopes to have, but Secret Invasion for it to happen, Skrulls to be in the mix of an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show can only happen after Infinity War, which is maybe season 6 or 7 or 8 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., one of those. God, I wish it would happen now. I just love I love that entire storyline, and I want it to happen so bad. It's not the right time for it, and if it happens now, it might not happen in the way that us fans would like it to happen because there's a lot going on right now. Civil War is happening. It might be too much. This whole Inhuman storyline coming into the picture. So adding Skrulls and the whole Secret Invasion storyline, it just might be too much, and we might not get Secret Invasion and Skrulls might not get the justice it deserves of it just being badass supervillains and evil and terrible, and that entire storyline is just so good because everyone... I just don't want to get started, but it just might be too soon for it.
17 is 3.
If that was the case...
17 is 4. 17 to 18 is 5. It'd be season 6.
He's calculating. It would be season 6 at this point. Wow.
Well...
If it were after Infinity War.
Yeah.
Right.
It would be so great if the show could last sort of through all the Marvel movies
Yeah.
and stay connected in and
It'd be
the
a constant.
information be referenced to in it'd be pretty amazing.
That would be pretty great. But we also want to do some nerd shout-outs to some of our friends who have been very supportive of us since we did this. So to the Twitter box, because these ones are actually on Twitter.
To the Twitter box!
Alright, we want to say thank you to @level7, the number, Access Pod, the Level 7 podcast. Alright, they're really, really awesome. I think they told me I was level 8 once, and I cried. So they're really, really great. Check them out. Also at the CG Reporter, the Clark Gregg Reporter, for all of you Coulson fans out there, because who is not a Coulson fan? Check them out on Twitter, and they'll tell you all kinds of great stuff. And at Ward Warriors, all right? I could see Ward coming in with this real S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, and that could be really, really exciting. And as always, we want to thank you guys for checking out our show, as well as inviting you to go over to the Helicarrier podcast. And they are at S.H.I.E.L.D. Radio on Twitter, or you can find them at www.helicarrierpodcast.com out there on the rest of the interweb. And if you like the conversations we have here, more conversations just like this with people who we really, really like are right over there. So check them out. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for watching our videos. So right now, if you like what you see, head on down to the lower part of this page. Click that subscribe button. Click the like button, little thumb guy. There, share the video with your friends because the more likes and subscriptions we get, the more stuff we're able to do. So thank you all very, very much from the NerdSHOUT family. We will see you next time. And remember, as always, let me hear your nerd shout.
Woo!
Goodbye.
Shout.